My name is Jeremy Greiner. I'm the creative manager for Vigil's games Darksiders 2. Today we're showing you the CrowFather level. It's the first level to our game. It introduces you to our protagonist, Death. It was War the first time around. We're going with Death. Let this go through, and also brings a little light into the fiction and why you're playing. The game begins in pretty epic fashion right above your steed Despair. Where in Darksiders 1 you didn't get ruined until halfway through the game. You get Despair right off the bat. So you take Despair, you get to the CrowFather's temple, and you make your way through.
Voices, always voices. Torment without end.
Keeper of secrets, I need your help.
I helped you once before, Horseman. Look at me now. How I cursed that day. How I curse you.
Yeah, so one thing we wanted to do and teach the player at the beginning of the game was, everything that makes Death who he is. So his sarcastic humor, his arrogant temperament, his combat style, how he moves and evades and dodges instead of blocks. He's quick and agile, almost like an assassin. Also his traversal methods. He can wall run, wall bounce, has all quick times of different traversal ways that are quite dissimilar to his brother War. Yeah, Death's story here is in Darksiders 2 is he's basically trying to right the wrongs that happened in Darksiders 1. His brother War, who he's fiercely loyal to, was falsely accused for starting the apocalypse prior to its intended time. So he's going out to right the wrongs and erase the deed itself. He wants to make sure the apocalypse never happened, so War can be unbounded. So when the game starts, Death's first character he'll meet will be the CrowFather. He guards all the secrets. The CrowFather knows pretty much everything that goes on in the world. So Death really asks him, tell me what really happened to War, and how can you help me? And the CrowFather doesn't like Death. He has no love for him as it is. They end up battling through the sequence, and the CrowFather loses that fight. I'd say there are definitely a lot of allusions to the original game as you play through. There's a 2D cutscene between each chapter, which really kind of ties the first and second games together, especially since the storylines occur during the same time. Death's story takes place during the 100 years that War was imprisoned by the Charred Council. To teach the lore of the game, we have the CrowFather through every intro into the levels through a 2D cutscene, kind of go through the lore and the history and why you're doing what you're doing, and a very top-line approach to Darksiders 1. So anyone can pick up and play Darksiders 2 and fully know what's going on. Those that know Darksiders 1 and have played through it will obviously have a bit more insight into what's actually going on and a bit more tidbits into the actual fiction. So there's 4 main zones in Darksiders 2 outside of the CrowFather level. You have the Maker's Realm, then the Dead Plains, the Angel Realm, and the Demon Realm, and each zone kind of introduces a new ability to you. So, every zone has a main dungeon, also side dungeons, and a vast overworld. So you traverse the overworld in order to get to the dungeons. You can play in a linear style, you can actually do a lot of side questing, go back to the critical path. There are a lot of options out there for the gamer to explore. Clock time for an average playthrough is really hard to put a finger on right now since we're going through finalization, but I'd say easily the critical path is going to be 25 plus hours. Just looking at usability right now, that's easy, but we have a ton of side content. Darksiders 2 is a much bigger game than Darksiders 1 in a couple ways. The scale is bigger, it's much more grand and much more epic. We put a lot in the engine to accomplish that from a visual standpoint. At the same time, it's a much bigger game content-wise, and we're working to polish that all up to AAA quality as we speak. Yeah, a lot of the side quests in the game trigger through exploration. You explore and you can all of a sudden find a dungeon you didn't know existed. Or you interact with NPCs in the world and they give you a quest to do something. So there's all these different ways of getting side quests. It's really up to the gamer to decide, what do I want to do? The thing is though, in the end, usually there's a great reward waiting at the end. Darksiders 2 will be out this August on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC.